Welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Our mission is to share what we have learned from our experience and the experience of others to help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate the Discount Property Investor way. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, welcome back. Today, Mike and I are going to be talking about mindset and flipping houses and 75 hard, which I'm sure at this point you guys have all heard of or people doing, which is a pretty awesome mental toughness program. Mike, you were the one yesterday that said, hey, we're going to be doing this. And I jumped on board kind of like halfway through the day, and I ended up getting my day in.
That's why I like being partnered with you, Dave, because this is the 75 challenge or 75 hard challenge. If you're not familiar with it, it's basically like a mental marathon of diet, exercise, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be doing this for the next 75 days, and this is around lunchtime or 1 o'clock. And Dave's like, all right, I'm in. All right, cool. I got to drink a gallon of water a day. All right, I better get going.
Better start.
Yeah, right, I mean, it's so yeah. That's why I love being partnered with you, Dave. Your mindset is always, let's do it. Whatever the next big challenge is, you're ready to tackle it. And
ready to go. It's funny because you were like, download the app, and I'm like, I've had it for 2 weeks. I haven't used it, but I've had it on my phone as I was curious.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick,
let's talk about 75 hard and how it relates to mindset. Sure. I'm going to let you take the wheel here because you know a little bit more about it than I do. I'm one day in. I know you are too, but you guys had set up the Facebook group that we have, which a couple local investors in.
Yeah.
So we have an accountability group, and I think that's really one of the reasons that I was so excited to jump in. It wasn't just like me and you, not that would have mattered, but we have a group at this point of like 15, 16, 17 people. They all started yesterday. And again, there's accountability. And I think that kind of relates a lot to, having a coach as well too. Like we're basically, all accountable to everybody in the group. So that's really where I'm at. So let's start with what is 75 hard and why are we doing it?
Absolutely. So 75 hard. And again, I am not an expert on it because I didn't really look into it that much before I said, all right, I'm going to do it. I saw a couple people post on Facebook, like a couple of friends of mine or acquaintances. They said, hey, the 75 hard challenge. And, every few days I'd see a post. They're like, oh, 75 hard. So I was like, that's interesting. So Corey Boyles is a local real estate investor here. Corey, shout out to you, buddy. Thank you so much for putting this together for us. And inspiring us to participate in it. He did it and he looks great. And he said he felt great and he felt like trash when he stopped doing it because he went back to his old ways of, kind of eating junk and drinking alcohol. And, it just was not working. It's just not a winning strategy for life and success and everything like that. So anyways, so we put this group together. And the idea is that everyone does it. There's no cheats on 75 hard. So the program, and I can't tell you everything about it because again, I haven't researched it, but it's Andy Frisella. I don't know how to say his name. Dave, you probably are familiar with him as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's, I think he's the CEO of, Supplement Superstore and what's his podcast? The motherfucking CFO or CEO or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's his podcast. And on there, I think that's where he kind of came up with this or posted this for the first time. And the challenge goes something like this. You've got 75 days. You have to follow the following rules. You have to get 2 workouts in a day that are 45 minutes long. And one of them is supposed to be outdoors for his, doing it strict. You take a progress picture every day. So take a selfie every day. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to a diet. And again, I'm sure that they elaborate on a diet a little bit more specifically. It can't be just a diet at Cheetos, I imagine, but it's follow a diet. And then it's no cheat meals or alcohol. And that's for all 75 days. So what makes this challenge particularly hard is if you mess up, you start over on day one. So it's not
Ooh.
yeah, it's not a 75-day challenge if you mess up. It starts over. Then you
75 consistent days.
yeah, 75 days in a row of doing all this. That's the idea. And yeah, like, so if you mess up, you're back to day one. So very, Dave drinking some water, some protein, right?
Yeah, this is going to be a challenge, man. This is a challenge. So I like the app because it's basically, and I don't know if you guys can see or not, but it's basically just a checklist. And I'm like, I live off a checklist. My whole life is a checklist. So basically each day it's workout 1, workout 2, take a progress picture, 10 pages of reading.
Oh, that was one I forgot.
Drink 1 gallon of water, follow a diet, and then no cheat meals or alcohol. So the whole diet is pretty broad, but I kind of like that because this is a pretty tough challenge anyway. So you pick your own diet, and that I would imagine could be anything really, as long as it's, you know, a healthier choice than what you're currently doing. So you have to follow it. And then I like the no cheat meals or alcohol. So depending on what the diet consists of, you can't be cheating on that diet, right? No alcohol as well. And then of course, take the progress pic. So none of these are really that hard in my opinion, individually. But when you start stacking them on top of each other, this is a pretty difficult challenge. So I'm over on their website right now, and it says, this 75 Hard is a transformative mental toughness program. All right. So, you know, this is truly a mental toughness thing, like working out twice a day, 45 minutes a piece, or even doing 1 hour and a half workout if half of it's outside, I would think would count essentially. That's not necessarily that hard. But again, when you start stacking, drink a gallon of water, follow a diet, no drinking or cheating on your meals, reading the 10 pages. That doesn't seem that hard, but consistently, that's going to be tough. And then taking a progress pic. So I love that they have an app. It's going to make this so much easier. And I think it's going to make it a lot more fun to partake in this because there's a simple way to track everything. And then the progress picture doesn't seem like it would be that, like it would matter, but it's gonna. Because if you're able to stick through the 75 days, I mean, even if you're already thin and cut and trim, you're just going to look even better, right? So the ability to be able to kind of track it, I think, you know, is going to be very, very cool. So mental toughness, I'm excited. We started yesterday. Today is literally day number 2, and we're off, man. 75 hard. So one of the things that I really like about this, though, is we preach when we're talking to our students about consistency. And really consistency, in my opinion, is one of the most important things to achieve success. No matter what you're doing, guys, if you're flipping houses, well, then you need to be consistent with your marketing, with your making of your offers, and your following up, period, right? If you wanted to become a doctor or a lawyer, right, you need to be consistent at taking the right classes and the right schooling to get there. Everything in life is about consistency. If you are lonely and you're trying to find a spouse, well, you better, you know, find somebody and meet them and consistently be nice to them and consistently take them on dates if you're going to try to court them, right? Everything is about consistency. And this program here is just going to reinforce consistency. So I love this list of things. I may go one step further and add one more item to this list of, you know, maybe consistently putting out content, you know, or consistently making a 5 or 10 minute video about something that I did that day, or maybe a vlog or something along those lines, because I'm already following a checklist, right? And I'm already going to be working out and drinking a bunch of water and eating healthy. I might as well make a 75-day challenge to myself to add one little item on there. I know a lot of people do this. They'll add one item to it. Like they need to, I follow the Paula girl that works over there. And I think one of hers was that she needed to go meet somebody new every day and introduce herself. So I like that. You know, it's simple. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it's an extra item added to this list. So consistency is the name of the game, guys. I mean, that's really where it's at. I'm excited to join this, and I'm really grateful that we have an accountability group as well.
Yeah,
So,
I'm looking forward to it. It's fun. How am I going to squeeze in 2 workouts a day? Obviously busy. Got a kid at home. Got this job. Work. As much as I want. It's early. I got to wake up early before everything gets going for the day, or I'm not going to be able to squeeze the second one in. And again, that's a mental block that I won't be able to. But that's why, hey, get going. I'm awake most days. I'm just groggy and not doing anything. So I said, all right, this is a great challenge. I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to work out for 45 minutes before I do anything else for the day. And the first day, I was excited about it. I was up at 3:30. 3:30 a.m. Yesterday, I was up at 3:30 a.m., bro. I left the house, went to the gym, worked out for 45 minutes. It was too early because I got back and then I still had to kill some time before the rest of the morning started. So, again, 4 a.m. is kind of my wake-up calls now. I mean, that's when I'm going to start getting up. I've seen so many posts about CEOs like Elon Musk and Tim Cook and the likes of those who get up, and one of the things in common is they all get up early. They focus on themselves before the hustle and the bustle of the day begins. So that's really my challenge to myself, is to get up and actually get going and doing productive things, doing the hard things first, so that I can start my foot. In the past, I've looked at the Miracle Morning. Dave, I don't know if you're familiar with that one. Hal Elrod.
yeah, I've read that book and I've given that a try.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's you know what? I think that Miracle Morning is a great thing. It's just consistency. My consistency wasn't there.
Yeah. Well,
If I had that consistency, I think that would be a great thing.
Yeah, and that's what it's all the same stuff. It's just a matter of doing it and how you frame it in your mind. This is another thing. So we're talking about mindset, and we'll talk about framing it in your mind. I was at GNC on Sunday because I wanted to get my body fat and my weight and height, all that stuff, and get some multivitamins. Again, I really wanted the measurements. I wanted the body fat measurement. I'll tell you after the challenge what it was. But I said to one of the guys working there, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've done the 75 hard," and he's one of the big guys that works at a supplement store. He's in the gym all the time, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna give it a try." And he said, "No, dude, that's wrong. You're not trying it. You're doing it." And I was like, "Dude, you're absolutely right. It's that language that matters. It's that mindset where if you give yourself even just the slightest excuse to not do it, you probably are going to let yourself out of it. It's not try. I'm not going to try to do the 75 hard challenge. I'm going to do it. If you say I'm going to try to wholesale, guess what? You probably aren't going to be as successful as the guy sitting next to you who says, I'm going to wholesale.
Oh yeah, 100% agree with that.
It's all in your mindset that you have to just make up your mind what you're going to do in fitness, in health, in life, in business. Just do it. Dave and I'll keep kind of rambling on about that. We have failed together as many times as I can remember failing individually prior to it.
Mm-hmm.
We've taken on so many and gone in so many different directions and said, "That doesn't work." And we keep coming back and we do the same things consistently with our marketing. And again, I consider us pretty successful at this point because, again, we're very good at failing. I know that's silly, but we're pretty good at failing. And I think that makes us successful.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think consistency really is the name of the game, no matter what. And again, I'm really excited to have the accountability group. I really think that the accountability group is the main. I mean, it's the main reason that I was excited to join, just because the consistency is hard on your own. It's very difficult, right? And having a coach. I mean, I have a fitness coach already, right? I have a real estate coach already. And these people, hold me accountable to doing marketing or to get my ass in the gym, right? And having the accountability group of everybody else that's also doing this I want to call it a challenge because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this the first time around. I mean, this is 75 days. It's hard as shit, in my opinion. So I think having the group is going to be, really, really helpful. I'm looking on the website right now, Mike, and it looks like there is a book that he wrote as well, 75 Hard, a tactical guide to winning the war with yourself. There's obviously the iPhone app. It looks like there's a Google app as well, too. So the iPhone and Android app. And then there's some different Facebook groups that it looks like that he has for 75 Hard as well. Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And then it looks like there's a podcast, too. Listen to the 75 Hard podcast. So there's a couple different resources on here that I'm going to definitely be diving into over the next couple of days as well. But really just downloading the app and just following the directions is all that's needed to get going with this right away, which is cool. You don't need to go get a book or listen to the podcast. Just go to 75hard.com, I believe. Or actually, it's andyfrisella.com. And then there's a 75 Hard on there.
Yeah, I think if you just Google that 75 Hard, it's going to come up.
You're going to find it.
First or second result.
Absolutely.
So it's exciting. Again, I think Dave and I are pretty excited. We always, and I know I personally, I've gone through where I've done like the whole 30, and I was like, I lost like 15, 20 pounds, but then I didn't stick with it. And I've gone for, pretty much all of 2019, I would say. I was working out very, very consistently, but I wasn't dieting too. I wasn't following a strict diet.
Man, 2020 has been a doozy. This
Yeah.
year has freaking sucked, right? There really hasn't been all that much good that has come out of this year. We've had the pandemic. Businesses have shut down completely, if not closed their doors for 4 to 6 months. The government's, writing trillions of dollars worth of stimulus checks. The unemployment's through the roof. This year has just sucked. And Mike, you had mentioned, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you had mentioned earlier, like you were looking at, your phone app or what it was, and you're like, I haven't been to the gym in 4 months, whatever. Man, I'm with you. You. Sometimes it's hard. And this year alone hasn't helped, right? Everything is just...
This year was the catalyst, Dave. That's my point. In March was the last time I went. Then the whole Corona thing was happening and gyms shut down. So there was a good 2 months when the gyms were closed. So, you really couldn't go. And I altered my behavior. I was so consistent at going to the gym every, 3-4 days a week before I came into work. And I just got out of that routine. I started doing a little bit of running at home, but consistent as before. So it was just it's 2020. You give them 2020. It is what it is. So no, that was my point. And now, again, the gyms are open. Can't shower, so definitely be coming in here in the studio, stinking it up with you every once in a while, Dave. What are you gonna do though, man? You got to squeeze that workout in and keep going. So, so that's exactly where I'm at. Really excited to keep doing this, and again, I think you and I are both looking forward to next year already, just because we've got some big things we're working on or trying to get in the pipeline. So.
That's right. Well, guys, check out 75 Hard. It's a great mental toughness program. You're guaranteed to get fit if you go through this program, just because of the amount of working out, the diet that you're sticking to, the amount of water that you're drinking. As I say, Mike's slamming water as we go here. You're guaranteed to come out of this a better person than you went in. Maybe you're not going to lose 100 pounds. So what, right? You're going to come out of this a better person because of the consistency, the discipline, and of course the health that come along with all of these things in there. Another thing I was thinking about last night, Mike, is, one of the things was, is it read 10 pages or is it read for 10 minutes? It's 10 pages of reading, right? 10 pages of reading. Another way to do that would be write 10 pages. Right. So Mike and I, we already have 2 books. We're working on our 3rd book right now. I was thinking I'm going to modify that a little bit to say either read 10 pages or write/edit 10 pages. Right. This could be a perfect opportunity to put another book out, just by having that as the task. So I'm not suggesting modifying this too much, but if you're going to do it and it's going to be a benefit to you, why not, right? I mean, what I suggest is not removing items, it's adding items, right? And, if you could read 10 pages, or let's say you can go write, 10 pages or write a couple pages and read the difference. I mean, that's just going to be more that you have later. So like, this is a great opportunity for us over the next 75 days to put out our 4th book. Think of it that way, right? So a lot of opportunities here, guys. A lot of opportunities.
No, we should definitely add content. I like your idea of adding, 10-minute video or just adding some content in there. That's easy.
Yeah, because you're just following your checklist, right? Absolutely. So if you get there everything at 4 p.m. and you're like, wow, that was great. It's like, okay, well, now I know I need to do something for the business at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's one thing. I love the app. I'm using it too. That I don't like. You can't edit it. And I'm sure there's a reason for that. Again, that's his program and he wants to keep, I imagine. And that's the whole idea is, no, you don't edit it. This is what it is. So I definitely respect that, but it would be nice to be able to add in an extra item on there, like you just said, want to add in.
Yeah, but you don't have to have it on there though. Just know it.
You don't. Yeah. So, hey, Dave, what else were we talking about? Big changes coming up this year. I wanted to kind of think about some things that we're doing. We were talking about our new CRM. You want to talk a little bit about that today as well?
Yeah, we can talk about it briefly. So we're in the process of moving leads over right now. Basically to kind of fill everybody in, we use Podio for our acquisition side of our business. We use REI Black Book for the disposition side of our business. And REI Black Book's great for dispositions. They're actually, pretty good as well for the acquisitions. It's just very, very, very robust. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing. And lately, Mike and I both have just kind of decided that less is more. And we're going to continue using REI Black Book. Don't get that confused with the dispositions. But instead of moving our Podio, which is what we do our current wholesale and house flipping business acquisition side in, instead of moving that into REI Black Book, we've decided to take another route, and we're going to get rid of Podio, but we're going to move the acquisition side of the business over to realestateinvestor.com, and their software is actually called Touch. And the cool thing I really like about it is it's very simple, right? It has the ability to do automated follow-ups. It has the ability to help run comps and determine our MAO. It has the ability to send offers with e-signature. Of course, what is the main thing of any CRM? Well, it's notes and tasks. So it has that in there as well.
It doesn't just, hold on, Dave. It doesn't just have notes and tasks in there. It's basically centered around notes and tasks in my brain.
Boom. That's something that I didn't even think of, but that's one of the main things that we always preach to our students, right? Is that it's all about notes and tasks. What happened on this call? What needs to happen next and when, right? So those are your notes. And then your task is literally just a reminder to call that person back or follow up or whatever it may be. And most CRMs aren't designed around notes and tasks. And that's why we've stuck with Podio for literally 5 going on 6 years, is because it's a CRM that, in my opinion, is built around the notes and tasks, the most important part. Like, I don't want to be in a CRM and have to go search for my notes or my tasks. That's the number one thing that should come up. And that was, again, one of the main reasons, Mike, you're absolutely right, that we decided to go with them, because their CRM is literally built around notes and tasks. Everything else is extra, in my opinion. I mean, all you really need is notes and tasks. So when you have a million bells and whistles and all this other stuff, it's great, but I don't want to have to go to a boot camp to learn my software. I want to be able to import my leads, turn on the on button for automated marketing, and start adding new leads, and then immediately go over to my tasks and figure out what needs to happen next, right? When you have all these additional things and you have to learn how to use a software, it's actually counterproductive, in my opinion, right? You shouldn't have to learn a software that you're going to be using to follow up with your leads. Yeah, you may be a little learning curve, an hour, maybe 2 hours, but you shouldn't have to dedicate an entire weekend to just learning how to import leads or add a lead or how to navigate, right? So I think one of the things that I really like about it is robust in the amount of, things that it does, but at the same time, they keep it very, very, very simple. So Mike and I have been in the business for 6 years. I mean, really more like 15 if you count all of my passive investing. And, having a CRM is something that I've had since day one. But whenever we're looking at like coaching students, right? And we're saying, hey, this is what we do. This is what you should do. In the past, over the last couple of years, we've actually been saying, here's what we do with Podio, but don't do this. Go find a CRM that you can end with, because it was a solution for us that's worked really well, but moving out of it is going to be a huge pain in the butt. And we don't necessarily want to do that, and we don't want you to do that either. So another one of the main reasons that we're making this move is because, we don't want to be hypocrites. We don't want to say, hey, this is what I do, but you shouldn't do that. And I don't look at myself that way by any means. I do it with the intention of good, obviously. But, a CRM shouldn't take up your entire week or multiple weeks to learn. It's just something that you should be able to implement in a couple of hours. So, making this move, I think, is going to be very, very helpful, not only to our business, Mike, but it's also going to help our coaching efforts by saying, hey, here's what we use. It's very, very simple.
So
we want you to use it too.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons I was really excited about it, I mean, Dave, you've shopped softwares much more than I have, and Dave is always saying, hey, let's try this one. Let's try this one. And I'm like, well, Dave, we've got lots of leads in Podio. We can't just jump ship. I put the brakes on them at least once or twice in the past year on switching CRM.
Probably once a week.
Yeah, I was trying to, So I've tapped the brakes a couple times, but when I looked at this one, he said, Mike, we have to switch to it, and he was very, very adamant. So I looked at it, and I'll be honest, I was blown away. It does everything that we want. I don't even know how to describe it.
Let's put it this way. Right now,
Dave and I have failed in the past. We had tried to create basically a comping service, and we tried to build out a little website and all this stuff. Failed. Didn't work. No big deal. Keep moving on. This basically, what did I say? I said, this is the correct way to build the website. Like, it looked good. It has an easy to use user interface. The decision trees from like when a seller becomes a lead and when it goes from lead to contract to making offer to prospect, like all those steps are in the correct order, in the correct sequence, where you think they should be for almost anyone who is doing any direct seller marketing. It just blew me away. So I'm very happy, Dave, that you were as excited as you were about this one. And I definitely share that enthusiasm. So I'm looking forward to getting in there.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the main things that I thought was really cool is that they already have your automated follow-up sequence. They have templates, right? So you can go in and build your own or even modify theirs. But I think that's one of the main things that puts people into analysis paralysis or requires them to go to a boot camp, like to learn it, right? Well, instead of having to sit down and try to figure out the best solution, use one of the templates that they have for follow-up. Those templates are proven, right? They're constantly making those templates better and tweaking them. So that's one of the cool things that I thought is like, I don't have to go in and try to build out this automated follow-up of a text message or an email or an RVM or, and then put the number of days out or whatever. It's already designed for you that way. So you literally just import your lead and click one button and boom, they're added to an automated sequence of messaging and emailing and voicemails and whatever it may be. And every campaign has its own phone number. So you don't have to like go into a phone system app and get a number and then go into your campaigns app and then try to figure out how to link those together. No, it's campaign phone. It's all together one thing. So if you want a new phone, guess what? You're getting a new campaign, but you should have a new campaign for a new phone number, right? So everything is designed off of just simplicity. So if I do some marketing in one campaign, that message is going to come back via that number in that campaign to that lead. So it's also going to start helping track our KPIs a lot better. Now, Mike, we've probably spent, I'm not saying this to brag by any means, but we probably spent 15 or 20 grand on Podio. over the last 5 years, hiring developers to come in and add in automations or KPIs. See, the thing about Podio, folks, if you don't know, is Podio is the front end of it. And it's basically, I think it's a Citrix owned company at this point. And they have a back end called GlobiFlow. So again, it adds a layer of confusion. You have Podio on the front end, you have GlobiFlow on the back end. Now, if you want to automate in additional things, you have to go get Zapier. And if you want to have e-sign, you got to get Right Signature. If you want to be able to send text messages, you're going to need Twilio and Zapier. So you're talking about 5 or 6 or 7 different softwares to build a decent CRM, not a kick-ass one, but a decent one. Whereas you don't need any of that in this new one, right? So we're going to essentially be able to eliminate Podio. We're going to eliminate GlobiFlow. We're going to eliminate Right Signature. We're going to eliminate Zapier. And we're going to eliminate Twilio, which is going to be sweet. So we're going to basically have one software. Now, we may use Zapier and Twilio for other things in our business, of course, but for the initial CRM, we're going to be able to eliminate all that stuff. So I'm just really excited because less is more. And I find that whenever I have less things on my list to do, I'm way more efficient at the things that are on my list, but also I'm more excited to jump in and work leads when I know that I don't have this backlog of tasks and to-dos. So, one of the things that I thought was the coolest about this is, A, it's very, very simple, but B, setting all this stuff up doesn't take hours or days. It takes minutes. So I'm just really, really pumped about that. And again, Mike, pushing a student towards something that we're not doing, is something that I struggle with. So I'm not going to have that struggle anymore. Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have everything completely moved over and imported. And it's going to be great, man. I'm super pumped.
Yeah. So why is it taking us so long? It's because we've been doing this for 5 years and we have, I don't know, Dave, what is it, like 100,000 or so different leads in the system? And then we've got 20,000.
We have about 100,000 contacts, which I don't plan on moving all those over. But we do have, I'd say somewhere around between 8 and 10,000 leads in our system. And what I mean by leads are people that are in the follow-up. Like they're not marked dead. We're not moving any of that stuff over, of course. These people we've either made an appointment with them already, we've sent them an offer already, or they've raised their hand to say, hey, I'm interested in selling. And we've probably already talked to them on the phone and given them a price range and it maybe didn't work, but we didn't mark the lead as dead yet. So basically we have, I don't know the exact number yet because we're still in the process of exporting everything out of Podio as we're importing it into REI Touch or realestateinvestor.com. But I'd say we're somewhere realistically, maybe about 8,000 leads that we're going to be moving over. And here's one of the coolest parts, Mike. We're moving over 8,000 leads. We're going to move over all the notes and all the tasks on all 8,000 leads. Mm-hmm. And all 8,000 of those have a task for us to call that person back at some point in the future, right? Well, we're going to be able to flip one switch when we get these all imported. Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, please visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you in advance for your support, and remember, you make your money when you buy, and you get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.